How many of you know that some losses are not losses at all? Some losses are tuition that we have to pay to get to our yes. Now, if a loss haven't moved you, changed you, or made a difference in your life, then your pain was in vain. So let's discuss how we can make our no's and our discomforts feel better. All right. So just rock with me. All right.
Direct, motivational, and unapologetic, delivered with both biblical wisdom and business grit. Structure of episodes, quick hitting lessons, real life metaphors, storytelling, and actionable takeaways in every episode. Value proposition with clarity and purpose, confidence in pricing and practical steps to scale. Unique twist, you blend faith, raw entrepreneurial experience, and real world strategy.
Welcome to yet another episode of Entrepreneurial Exchange. I am your host, Joe Charlton. Thank you so much for rocking with me. I am just out here doing what I say I'm going to do. Ugly, pretty, perfect, imperfect. I'm just doing the doggone thing. So welcome. Thank you guys for rocking with me. Those who rock with me live, those who anticipate the live at 7 p.m. on Sunday, those who catch me on rebroadcast and come and tell me that, hey, Joe, I got this or I got that, or Joe, keep doing what you're doing. I appreciate each and every last one of you. Entrepreneurial Exchange is a podcast for business owners, entrepreneurs, inspired entrepreneurs, those who want to get in business but don't think they don't think they have what it takes to get in business. But just like you, 17 years ago, I was once like that, working at a job that one day I would become an entrepreneur. And guess what? I'm just sharing my experience of what I did. I made a plan. I stuck with it. And 17 years later, me and my wife are entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurship in the detailing space, of course, but then it went into coaching detailing because detailing became so like, oh my God, it became like the back of our hand, right? We know the ins and outs and the ups and the downs. And through answering questions to like-minded, inspired entrepreneurs who just want to do things a little bit better, who want to do things in a way without having to actually go around these curves that we have to go through at time in business, right? And kind of find a straight line to where we don't take certain loss. But then again, you take the loss because we all have to take a loss. We all have to go through something. We have to sacrifice time. We have to sacrifice sometimes family businesses, like birthdays, just different things in order to make this work sometimes. You most likely are prepared once you have that mentor, once you have that coach, and once you listen to this podcast, right? That's what this podcast was birthed out, answering questions and me receiving answers. So I search for little things. When I hear little things, I'm like, my students may need to hear something like that. So that's what keeps me going on this podcast. This podcast is really, 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 it's uncomfortable because when you start doing a thing, it makes you feel like an imposter because you know what you go through on a daily. You know the things you procrastinate on, but yet you're really good at the thing that you're teaching people. All right. I'm just going to use Les Brown because we all know Les Brown. Les Brown said he used to sleep in his office, him and his business partner, trying to get his speaking engagements off the ground. And his speech was, you can win. You gotta eat, sleep, the dream. You gotta decree and declare that you will win. And he's telling people they will win when he's in his office sleeping on the floor because why? He had nothing, but he gave his all. And now he's a household name around the world. This man has sold out stadiums around the world just for speaking. So it sometimes make me, I'm gonna be honest with me, I feel like an imposter sometimes because sometimes it's like, yeah, I'm talking about what I've seen, what I've done, and how I got to where I'm at. But what about this problem that I'm challenged with right now, right? What about this podcast every single week? Like, I don't have this together, but I just know that I said that on Sundays I will be here. And my goal and my dream and my vision is that one day this will be a podcast that will have someone to say, hey, Joe, can you be on the network? Because one thing about Joe is involved in something is going to become great. I don't care if it's 5 years from now. Remember, I've been in business for 17 years. I got a long way to go, but God knows I came a long way. Now I'm a coach to other detailers. So I'm not harassed by time. So I'm asking you to not be harassed by time. Just every day, do what you say you're going to do and then make a plan to do the next step. So if every day you're going to do 150, whatever the case may be, give yourself a timeline. You can't stay forever. Give yourself a month. Give yourself 2 weeks. Just stay consistent and watch yourself hear yourself say, I have completed what I said I was going to do. That's the thing about entrepreneurship. Blades get chopped. A monkey wrench get thrown in the gears. People that you thought would support you don't support you. The people that you thought hate you really just didn't understand you, and they help you with explaining what your processes is. And then now you're like, oh, I thought you hated me. They tell you, hey, no, I didn't hate you. I just didn't understand. Now you've grown in that area because now what? You got the information needed to communicate for people who think like that person you thought that didn't like you. That's how we pick up the chips. That's how we connect the dots. We start hearing and listening, and our mindset is on, we want to win. We got to win. What is the language we have to speak for our ideal customers? So tonight's episode is based on the no's. The things are not going my way. The arguments in relationships. The customer saying, no, I didn't expect that. You said something else, because customers will hear something. And, taking risk. A lot of us won't do certain things because we assume the no, right? So with that being said, there was a lot of no's coming up in my life. Being who I am, outspoken. Being who I am, just the color of my skin. Being who I am, where I have done things in my life. Hey, sweetheart, I've done things in my life because that's what I knew. I was a product of my environment. The drug-infested community, selling drugs and being known, not known as a drug dealer, but at the end of the day, those who knew, they knew. And for those who didn't respect it or whatever the case may be, they had their judgments. When I was coming up, where if I would try to date a girl, it would be, no, he's that guy, whatever the case may be, because I had an attitude. I had, temper. I was disrespectful at times, but very respectful to adults. But if you caught me around my other peers, you hear the things I was talking about. And now the adult is like, oh, that's how he is. But in front of the adult, I wasn't that way. It was really contradicting. I was living kind of, say, a double life. We all like to smoke, but when we see like our parents or when we see a pastor, we will put it away as if we don't do it. That's double-mindedness. That's the type of lifestyle I was living back in the day. And just through it all, I made mistakes. I got no's because of that. And so I realized that, Joe, if this is what you really want, there's some things you have to change. So by all means, I'm not the most professional. By all means, I'm not the most communicative. I'm not the most. But the point is, I shoot for the stars. So what I did was I came from a drug hole, but someone showed me what it was to dress in a suit. Though my suit was real big, almost to my fingertips, right? Because I was wearing a suit that didn't belong to me, like somebody gave it to me. And I was doing door-to-door sales. They put me in a room and we had a conference. I didn't know what a conference was. Don't ask me how. But for those who don't understand, God does what he does for a reason. Like I end up in conferences to sell and do door-to-door. And it started teaching me sales. And I believe whoever this individual was, they saw how I sold, like how I was doing unprofessional things, like selling drugs. Let's just be real, this transparent. The way I sold drugs, integrity was, they saw something in me and how I was doing what I was doing. And they asked me to do web TV. So I was selling some little product that you hook up to your TV and it'll allow you to do your computer can go to your TV. So whatever size your TV is, that's the size of your computer monitor. So I end up in web TV, and then that took me down this rabbit hole of just being professional. Like professional started being the name of the game. And I would actually take that back to the hood. Being professional, Like the way I was doing business on the street and doing business when I would dress up in this little big Macy's suit or whatever I had on, it was just like, I just saw myself changing for the better. And there was this one particular day where God spoke to me. Again, God has been with me all my life, but it wasn't God this and God that. It was, I'll go to church, but I still go to the club and sell drugs, drink, and do all this craziness. It was just like whatever the case would be, right? But there was one day I heard God vividly, clear as day. He said, this is not what you need to be doing. And I remember having drugs in a little baggie or whatever in my possession. And there was this guy that came up to me, and I know him because he's always purchasing for me. And the drugs in my hand, this is transparency, in my hand was about $60 worth of drugs. And when he came to me, he said, can I get something for 20? I looked at him, and I know it's not good, whatever. It's my transition, right? It's my transition. It's my testimony. It was a day I never looked back at selling crack cocaine because what God showed me. He gave me the $20 and I gave him the 3 stones. And I said, he was like, no. He said, I want that one. And I was like, you can have it all. He was like, what? Because he know me. I'm about my money. He looked at me like, what? He's like, I owe you? I said, no, you don't owe me anything. I gave it to him and I walked off. And from that day, I started to change in my life. Like it was tough because I made some promises in that arena that I could no longer keep because God shifted something in me in that moment. And I literally had to get into it with the people that I promised as far as bringing products, as far as fronting them, whatever the case may be back in the day. And I had to go through it like, hey, I'm just not doing it anymore. And I actually had to go through it. You understand? A lot of us, we struggle to make changes because our declarations of, I said I won't do this. I say I won't do that. When that's the very thing you should be doing. Those who are in a relationship, oh, I'll never love again. When the very person God is showing you right then and there, that's making you feel some kind of way, you're avoiding the feeling because you don't want to feel what you say you would never feel again. So you got this no in your mind. And it's like, wait, what is your standard of when a person comes to you, if they are this, this, and this? Sometimes your lists are surface, right? Let's just be real. Let's be surface. We're 6 feet, 6 inches, 6 figures, and all this other stuff. When it's, if I had a man, okay, there was a thing in the Bible, and I'm not quoting it verbatim because I don't know it, but I know the story, where he was looking for a wife for, I don't know if he was even a king, but he said, God, when I go to this well, if this woman were to ask me, do I want some water? And if she were to offer my horses some water as well, that would be the wife for the king or whoever this guy's name. I don't have the name, but it let me know that he was vivid. He was direct with this. This is going to be my person. So what he said was, the reason why it was that is she's not self-centered. She looks out for other people besides herself. She has a heart for people. It wasn't just because I think you look good, do you want some water? But then you leave out everybody else. But whatever the case may be, that was his reason. It was the byproduct of if a person does this, they do this. So with that being said, we need to have standards that is the byproduct of what we want in our lives. For my wife, I need a friend. For my wife, I need someone, if I died today, would she not be selfish to be thinking about insurance claims and all that? My wife will make the best decision possible with her education and everything because I chose her for that very reason. I can I can give my bank account to my wife and I don't have to think about anything. That's why I chose my wife. So at the end of the day, we make choices. We should make choices based on what we need in life, not what other people's judgment of. I think I would have chose my wife if she was ugly. I really do think I would have chose my wife if she was ugly. because I didn't see my wife beauty until later. I saw her as a person first because she was just friendly when we first met because I was not looking for anybody. But here nor there. So losses in life is, it can be very, very scary. And I'm saying this like this, where I can get into it with my wife, right? And I'm saying loss. Like I can lose an argument. So me and my wife can actually sit and we can have an argument. But there's always something in me that says, what is she actually saying? She's arguing with me. I'm arguing with her because sometimes it catches me off guard. But I always have this question in my head. Why is she really upset? Because a lot of us, we don't know how to explain what is on our actual mind. Yes, baby, I'm using you. I apologize because you're my world. I can only speak me. But I realize that when I look at what is my responsibility in this situation, it seems to really, really work out in the end. Where I take a loss is I have this argument and I felt like I won, but then I find myself having the same argument again. Then I ask myself, what have I really, truly won? Like, if my wife is agitated, she can't tell me she's agitated. But as head of my household, I can look into this thing and say, okay, on this day, she did this, and I realize it's the same thing. I realize it has nothing to do with me. But at the end of the day, as a leader, just like me as a business owner, my employees the same way, I am looking at what is it that they actually want. Can I fit the bill or I can't fit the bill? So you can come to me hooting and hollering, hey, okay, I understand what it is that you need, but I can tell straight, I can't provide that. You either got to hold or fold or take what I can give. There's no arguments in that. But there's an argument if, well, why are you coming off at me like that? And lose employees and lose the relationship because they, quote unquote, have a valid point and a valid reason on why they're coming to you. But it's your job, as we are all at leaders at some capacity, whether you're a mom or a dad or a teacher, or even on your job, you are a leader in any role that you have because you make decisions. When you make decisions to be, I guess, even if you're flipping burgers, man, your job is to make sure that that burger is cooked properly, put on a sandwich properly, whatever the case may be. You are a leader. And it is your job to see how you can make things for the better. But if you don't decide to say, hey, I'm going to take responsibility. I came into this relationship. I asked people to be a part of my business, hiring them. I have to make decisions what's best for them if I hired them to do the job. I saw what I needed, and when I allowed them, now I have to see what they need to keep going like they said they would. Like right now, my van is in the shop. I have to figure out by tomorrow how to get my customers back on the schedule because they were supposed to go mobile since from Saturday, which was yesterday. As the business owner, if they came to me hooting and holler, I have to understand they have bills to pay. It is my responsibility as a business owner not to argue back with them, but get them to understand what my process is. A lot of times, us as leaders got to be the one that knows how to communicate. Sometimes my wife can't communicate, and hell, sometimes I can't communicate. And my wife, hey, there you go. Hey, like she'll pull my coattail. But there are many times where I'm using you again, baby. I have to be that voice of reason because I am the leader as God is my leader. Because a lot of times I'm not focused, but God is always focused. So at the end of the day, I have to hear inside of everything, what is my responsibility to make this work out for all of us? All right. So no's. The reason why I want to talk about no is a lot of us are losing for no's. And the reason why we're losing sometimes with no is we can't see past our hurt sometimes. It's that hurt that like people can't see this hurt. Like when you see a no, when you got the flyers, you got the website, you done got your business name, all the articles incorporated and everything. And then you hit the ground, you start running, and then you get to a customer and you just hear no. It's like all of this was for what? And it's like, no. But I'm here to tell you that the more no's you can endure is the better. Hear what I'm saying? The better you will become. And this is the reason why I say that is the moment you hear no, for one, even if they can't tell you, you can read their language, their body language. At what point, when you said a certain thing, when they shifted in their seat, when they turned their eyes away from you, whatever the case may be, when they came to that no, you would figure out why they said no. And now you either can take a mental note or you can write it down. And the next time you go to a person, if it feels similar, you can use that thing differently. And now you're closer to a yes. Every time you hear no, you can figure out why that person said no and how you can get closer to a yes. Like right now, I'll be honest with you. I'm sitting here looking at the views. My views went up to 18 people. 18. That felt really good, but it dropped down to 4 right now. So now I'm inside of me. What do I do to keep my numbers up? This is personal. This is me just being transparent to let you know when things drop, it does not feel comfortable because you want to know why. Sometimes you can't get the answer. When I listen back to this tape, I can listen to where I transition. Did I stay on the subject too long? Did I not say a certain thing when I should have closed it? Should have been a punchline there. These are certain things that you have to take mental note on, or you have to write it down, depending on the person that you are. No's are okay on your route to yes. Because if you're consistent or persistent, you're going to get your yes. There are some of the silliest people, man, that are winning in life because they are consistently being themselves, and people can count on them doing what they do. I don't care what you do. You can peel potatoes for a living. People may say, that's crazy. Every time I turn on the phone or the social media, he's peeling a potato. But there's going to be somebody one day that needs their potatoes peeled. And before you know it, everybody knows to call you for peeling potatoes. You might have heard you're stupid. You might have heard, no, I don't need my potatoes peeled. But eventually, if you stay consistent, if somebody thinks about potato, they think about, even if they called you potato man. The point is your consistency of going through the no's. One day you will hear yes. One day. Now, this is where I want to, there's my challenge right now. Right now, I want to get into real estate. I really want to get into real estate, meaning I want to take a risk because I didn't think, I didn't think until this day. Now I'm thinking better that I can get into real estate. Because I thought I would hear no. I thought I didn't have what it takes. I didn't think I had the bandwidth to do, 50 acres and different things like that. Always hearing somebody else talk about, oh, they're buying 50 acres. And I said to myself, Joe, if you were to go look at a piece of land right now and put it in an offer, if you heard no, you would understand why it's a no. Do you have what it takes for the down payment? Do you have the credit score? Can your company afford to be the actual holder of this land? Could you even do owner financing? I will never know that answer until I literally grab a piece of land and go after it. I call it failing forward. A lot of us go through pure hell in our marriages, but yet the marriages are so great because we went through it. So if it works like that in marriage, and it worked like that in 17 years of business, man, I had some ups and downs, and I had some downs in this business. But I'm still here to this day, still going, and I know how to overcome certain things because I've been through it already. So if I were to put my eye on a piece of property, meaning 50 acres, even if it has no house or anything on it, I would learn what needs to be done if it took me a year to get it. The very house that I'm in right now, Me and my wife built this from the ground up. In 2013, me and my wife was talking to a gentleman, and before you know it, he was driving us around looking for houses. We wasn't looking for houses. We didn't think we could afford a house. I was doing cars for $25 a car. You know how many cars I had to wash to pay the mortgage? We started looking for houses. We took them. We did what we call we did a vision. Habakkuk 2:2. Me, my wife, and our daughter. We sat down. Habakkuk 2:2. What do you want? What do you want? 2 things. We all wrote down our 2 things. We started looking for a house in 2013. 2014, we found the house that we're in right now. We found this house, this property is what we found. This property, because I told them what I want. My wants it changed where we can actually live. So it's an HOA community. My 2 things was I needed a garage and I needed a big backyard. In my community, we have the biggest backyard in my community. It's shaped like a diamond. There's nobody got a backyard as big as we do in this community. And this was the only community in this area that has a land this size, right? So that was my thing. My wife wanted an open forum and a kitchen window right over the sink. Our daughter wanted an upstairs bed, upstairs, downstairs, and she wanted her own room, which she had her own room, but that was her too. We wrote it down. Habakkuk 2:2 says, write the vision, make it plain. We wrote it on a sticky note. We started riding around with this gentleman, and we asked ourselves, how we end up looking for houses? Here nor there. We got this house. This house took us through pure hell to get it. So much so we wanted to quit. We wanted to tell the realtors you can have this house and you can take it and put it where the good Lord split you, because of the loopholes they had us jumping through. We had probably like 7 or 8 closing dates from 2013. Matter of fact, 2014, because we had to get it built. It was getting built, but we still had paperwork to do because we were self-employed. They had us closing accounts, opening accounts. They had us doing so much stuff. It was stressful. They had me to close an account that was supposed to stay open. It was the longest history of credit I've had, and it was through Macy's. They told me to close my Macy's account. And it was like, hey, you might not get the house because of that. Now I had to get on the phone and call Macy's and beg them for the previous account that I had. Thank God it wasn't over 30 days. It was almost. They gave me back the account. Now they said, okay, we have closing. And man, they just kept pushing it back. My landlord, I keep telling him, please give me 1 more week. We about to go to court with my apartment complex because we're waiting on the house to be completed. Giving him so much stories and paying month to month. He has a tenant coming in. It was a world of drama. But all of those things we had to go through, we could have not have been in this house, right? Hell, I could have quit because when that mortgage payment was coming, I was getting paid $25 a car. You know how many, man, I was doing cars after cars after cars because that mortgage had to keep coming in. But because of the mortgage, it stretched our business to go into premium. We had to go premium in order to afford this house. Because they don't tell you about all the taxes and everything that comes with the house. It's bigger than just your little mortgage. All they tell you your mortgage is $1,500. You better add that with a whole bunch of other stuff. But here nor there, me and my wife heard so much no's and yeses and all this stuff, and we went with the flow. But now, if you look, we've been in this house for 11 years. On point since the day we got this house. I'm talking about on point. Don't have to think about all this other stuff. God has just been blessing us. So I said that to say, well, why don't we go through the nose on a 50-acre property? Why don't we just go through the nose? I mean, God, you see what we went through to get this house? How about we just use that same momentum God has given us? Habakkuk 2:2. Let's write it down, make it plain. What do you want on this property? And let's go through the nose so we would know what they need. If they say you don't have a particular document, you just got a yes, because you go and get that particular document. Now what? Oh, your credit score have to be this. Okay, cool. Let me figure out how I get my credit score up. Now, where's my yes? Oh, well, you missed the deadline because the interest rate just shifted. Okay, cool. What can I do to get whatever it is? You fail your way forward. There's never going to be a perfect day for you to have a perfect life. It's always going to be challenges. You're always going to hear no's. No's are so easy to give. Because if you say, hey, can I have some ice cream? And I go, no, I don't have to do anything else. But if you come to me and say, hey, can I have some ice cream? And I say yes, now I either got to share my ice cream. Now I either got to go get another spoon. I either gotta go buy some ice cream. I have to now do work if I said yes. I got to give if I said yes. If I say no, I don't have to do anything. So it's easy for people to tell you no because they don't have to do anything. But when that person tell you yes, they got to do the paperwork on your property. When they tell you yes, they got to look over your credit score and they got to now put in work to get you into the piece of property or position that you desire to be in. So I am talking to you tonight is to go through the no's and don't take it personal, but take it in a way where I'm here to get no's so I know how to get a yes. Don't be afraid to get a no. You will be one closer to a yes, no matter how many no's you get. All right. So I thank y'all for joining me. All right. You'll be great as a realtor. I almost thought about doing that, being a realtor. But I thank you guys for rocking with me. Like I always end, it is better to be than it is to be viewed. If you're going to be alive, you might as well live. God bless y'all. God's will. We will be together again next week. Thank y'all for joining Entrepreneurial Exchange. Peace.
Direct, motivational, and unapologetic. Delivered with both biblical wisdom and business grit. Structure of episodes, quick hitting lessons, real life metaphors, storytelling, and actionable takeaways in every episode. Value proposition with clarity and purpose. Confidence in pricing and practical steps to scale. Unique twist. You blend faith, raw entrepreneurial experience, and real world strategy.